Howdy folks, Ranger Sly here, and today I'm making a video about the 2021 Most Wanted books I'd like to add to my collection. I've seen many of you guys out there do the same kind of videos, and it inspired me to do the same. I'm gonna do a top 10 list. They're not in any particular order, and this video is dedicated to one of my favorite YouTuber in the comic book community. His name is The Gray Man. Most of you guys probably know him because he's subscribed to a lot of channels. He comments on a lot of videos every day. He makes often more than one video a day. He's a Renaissance man, so he makes videos about comic books, of course. He makes videos about heavy metal music, about beer drinking, and he live stream his game of Fallout 4 and Skyrim. He also does live stream about comics with other YouTubers. So yeah, I'm gonna put a link below on his channel and on his video about his goals for 2021 for his comic book collection. So starting up with number 10. It's Western Roundup number 23. Western Roundup is a 25-issue series that was published by Dell between the year 1952 and 1959. They were very thick book. I'm going to show you a copy here. So here we have a photo cover on the back, almost frameable with the simile wooden frame. And this is a copy of number 11, I think. Number 10. So this is my copy of number 10. It's one of the worst shaped copy I have. It's a really nice shine on the cover, but it has a bad spine roll. And I was very lucky while collecting Western Roundup because all the issues I got are in really nice shape, so I'd like this last missing issue, number 23, to be the same. When the series started, it was all about the Western, the B-Western movie stars. So here we see on the cover Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, Johnny McBrown, Rex Allen, and Wild Bill Elliott. But as the series progressed, it was an anthology, so in the 100 pages of each issue there were many stories. So as the series progressed, they were more about the TV series. Like I think the issue I'm looking for has a Rin Tin Tin episode in it, and also Tales of Wells Fargo. That was also a TV show. Wagon Train, a very known Western TV show. And there's also a Ray Rogers story in it, and a Dale Evans story in that issue. So yeah, moving on, number 9. Alberta Men of War, number 112. Why this issue? It's from November 1965. It's the first appearance of Lieutenant Steve Savage, also known as the Balloon Buster. So Balloon Busters looked like a cowboy, and he flew airplanes in World War I. Why do I want this issue? It's the first issue of with this character. It's because he has a link this character has a link to James Robinson's Starman series from the 1990s, which is probably one of my top 3 favorite comic book series of all time. The cover for issue number 112 is by Ross Eat, who also did the Balloon Buster feature inside. And also I wouldn't mind grabbing at the same time number 113 and 114, which was the 3 issues where Balloon Buster appeared on the cover of All-American Men of War. After that, he disappeared for the rest of the Silver Age, and he came back only in the Bronze Age as backup stories in other war comic books. So next up, I'm gonna do a superhero title before I lose the viewers. It's Marvel Team Up number 1. It's from Marvel Comics, of course. It's from March 1972. I learned from a fellow YouTuber, I think it was Metarog, that pointed out that this was a Christmas theme issue. The story inside is called Have Yourself a Sandman Little Christmas. and it's about the villain Sandman trying to reach his mother to give her a Christmas present, and Spider-Man and Human Torch teaming up, trying to stop him, not knowing his true intent. It's also now considered as the first appearance of Misty Knight. The cover is by Gil Kane, and that's another plus for me. So yeah, Marvel Team Up number 1 is number 8. Archie Giant Series number 137. And I collect the Archie Giant series, only the one that have a Christmas theme. I have about 30 of them, I think. And I collect Christmas comic books in general. So the Archie Giant series, this one, number 137, is from January 1966. So it would have been my first Christmas as a baby. And I've set my goal on this one because I try to pick them up when I can, but this one would be the oldest issue in this run that I would own. And yes, so that's it. Hanna-Barbera Bandwagon number 1. It's from Gold Key. It's from 1962, October 1962. It's a big 25 cents, 84-page giant. I have a couple of them in my collection. I have this one, the Quick Draw McGraw, my favorite Hanna-Barbera character. And as you can see, it's pretty thick. And they're kind of rare to find in nice grade. The giant size gold keys. This one is special because it's the first appearance of Lippy the Lion, Wally Gator, and Touche the Turtle with Dum Dum, which was some of my favorite Hanna-Barbera characters as well as a kid. There's only 3 issues in this series, so it will be easy to complete. Well, easy, as I said, they're not easy to find in good grade, but only 3 issues to go, so I might as well start with number 1. We got Laurel and RD number 12-423-210. So it's a complicated number because Dell Comics, who published it, were sometimes complicated and hard to follow. This is actually the first issue of the Laurel and RD series that was published by Dell. They published 4 issues, and they were not the only one to publish Laurel and RD comic book. I already have 2. I have this one, the first issue from Gold Key, which was an adaptation of the Larry Arman cartoons. And the single issue that DC put out, Laurel and RD number 1. I wouldn't mind getting the earliest Laurel and RD comic books were published by St. John, but they're very, very expensive. They are from 1949. There are only 3 issues. They're very rare, and they're never under $100 at least, and they're usually in a very crappy condition. So yeah, I wouldn't mind getting started on the Dell run of Laurel and RD. I love the cartoon, but I also love, of course, the original guys, all their movies. Number 4, it's ta-dam! Strange Adventures number 114. I try to buy Strange Adventures issues whenever I can find them for cheap. I usually end up with very good to find copies. That's alright with me. I just want to read them. I want a complete issue. I want an issue that doesn't fall apart. Aside from that, I just want to read them. And this issue is special because, well, 2 things actually. It's a classic Gil Kane cover with the secret of the buzzsaw, the flying saucer buzzsaw cutting down a building. So this is a classic cover for this series, and the interior art for that story inside is by Ross Eat, another favorite artist of mine. But this issue is a key. It's the first appearance of Star Hawkins. Star Hawkins was a a long-running feature in Strange Adventures. It was a detective story set in the future where the traditional... This is a picture of Star Hawkins from DC's Who's Who. Nice one by Gil Kane. And Star Hawkins had a robot secretary. You can see her in the corner there in green. The early issues were drawn by Mike Sekowsky, and the later issues were drawn by Gil Kane, so that might be another reason why I'd like to collect all the appearances of Star Hawkins. Next up is Amazing World of DC Comics number 9. It's not a comic book, it's a magazine. It's an in-house fanzine that was produced by DC Comics. It's very interesting series, a lot of incredible information in them, a lot of exclusive art, sometimes exclusive stories, never published before. The number 9 is the most expensive to get, it never under $100 usually. It's the issue devoted to the Legion of Superheroes. And this is the next to the last issue I'm missing from this run. I'm also missing number 15 that I would like to get as well. Number 15 was dedicated to Wonder Woman. So yeah, I would like to complete this round of magazine as maybe this year at least get this one, which is the most expensive one. At number 2 in my most wanted book of the year, it's 4-color number 1085. Why that particular issue? It's about the Time Machine. It's an adaptation of the movie. I have the DVD here. H.G. Wells' Time Machine with Rod Taylor. It's one of my favorite science fiction movie ever. And this comic book is even more special because Alex Toth did the art to adapt the movie into comic book. So the movie was directed by George Paul. It's the 1960 movie because there were many adaptations of the H.G. Wells novel. But this one is still the best to me. It stars Rod Taylor, Alan Young, who was the voice of Walt Disney's Uncle Scrooge. It also stars Sebastian Cabot and my first movie crush as a kid, the beautiful Yvette Mimieux as Weena. And I remember back in the day, I was a reader of Spider-Man during the John Romita years with Gwen Stacy, when Gwen Stacy was still alive. And I remember thinking, if they ever do a Spider-Man movie, Yvette Mimieux would be the perfect Gwen Stacy. So yeah, and this one is also expensive. It's often around the $100 mark because first it's related to movie memorabilia fan. It's art by Alex Toth, which is a very popular artist. I haven't got it yet because it's never in my price range, so I'm hoping for this year. And the number 1, as a Western fan, I started with a Western and I'm ending with a Western. It's Hopalong Cassidy number 86. Why number 86? Because it was the first issue published by DC Comics. Hopalong Cassidy was first published by Fawcett, the publisher of Captain Marvel, Shazam, and all that. And at Fawcett, he was one of their most popular characters. Not only did he appear in his own series called also Hopalong Cassidy until number 85, but Fawcett also had a series called Bill Boyd Western Comics. Bill Boyd was the real name of the actor who personified Hopalong Cassidy. And Hopalong Cassidy also appeared in another anthology series called Real Western Hero that became just a plain Western hero with the time. He also appeared in another anthology series about Western characters called Six Gun Heroes, which appeared for 23 issues. So yeah, Hopalong Cassidy was very popular at Fawcett, so when Fawcett stopped publishing their comic book line, DC snatched up a couple of series from them and they got the right to continue publishing Hopalong Cassidy. Number 86 is the first DC issue. DC would end up publish about 40 issues of Hopalong Cassidy. The first few issues of the run are drawn by Gene Colan, and then Gil Kane became the artist in the later issues. Hopalong Cassidy, of course, was one of the first merchandising success There were lunch boxes, pocket knives, boots, clothes, mugs, toy guns, and of course comics, posters, and all that. He was one of the first Western Star to become a big merchandising machine. And also the reason why I want the first DC issue is I just made a deal with another collector, and he's selling me his collection of an almost complete run of DC's Hopalong Cassidy. He's keeping, of course, issue number 1 and a few issues because they have gray tone covers. So I'm gonna end up missing about half a dozen issues to complete the run. And also these DC Westerns can be expensive. So I'm hoping to get the missing issue maybe this year, but I would be very happy just to get the first DC Hopalong Cassidy. So that's it for my comic book goal. Another goal I have this year is to read the complete run of the Legion of Superheroes from the Silver Age up to the 1980s with the Crisis on Infinite Earth, where they rebooted the series. So I'm not gonna read the original comic from the Silver Age because they're they're very expensive, but I have the 13 volume that was published in DC Archives edition. There were 13 volume of the Legion, and I have all of them in my library. The DC Archive covers the Legion from the Silver Age up to the Bronze Age, and after that I have them in comic book form. They're very cheap to get. So yeah, so this is my goal for this year, to read the complete run of Legion of Superheroes from beginning to end, Silver Age till the Crisis on Infinite Earth. So these are my comic book goals for the year. Thank you for watching. Once again, I'd like you to please go watch the Grayman's comic book goals for the year, link down below, and also subscribe to Grayman if you have not already. He's a great guy, he's a funny guy, he knows a lot about comics, and he does a lot of videos, so you'll never get bored and waiting for his next one. He has almost one per day, sometimes 2 or 3 per day, about different subjects. Like I said, he does videos about many subjects. So he's one of my favorite guy, highly recommended. And with this being said, until the next video, happy trails everyone.